Joining us now is a candidate running for the California Assembly election for District 25. Welcome to the show, Natasha Gupta.
Hi there, good morning, how are you?
Good morning, doing well. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. We're out here in California, right in Silicon Valley.
Exactly, not too far from where we are right now. So tell me about this race so far. What are some of the core issues that you're running based on?
You know, in District 25, the district I'm running in, this is really the heart of Silicon Valley. And in fact, the heart of where the issues of the progressive movement are starting to really hit home with the housing crisis, with the issue of student debt, and well, more recently with the wildfires that we had, and really the call for a statewide Green New Deal. And that is really one of the core parts of my platform. I'm talking about having a statewide action plan for our homeless, which puts them in a position of not just getting sheltered, but also retrained and rehabilitated, putting a mandate on us having comprehensive college cost reform, having a statewide Green New Deal that will allow us to transition to sustainable infrastructure, create well-paying jobs, and most importantly, deal with the most important crisis of our time in a proactive fashion that actually puts action on the table and not just plans that keep getting put off to address the crisis that we're in.
So look, recently I've grown increasingly interested in state and local level efforts to fight the climate crisis because of the unwillingness or inability of Washington to deal with it right now. So in your view, what would a state level Green New Deal look like? What would have to be some of the main components of it?
The main components really have to not just focus on putting metrics, but also eliminating a lot of the bureaucracy that we even see at the local level with establishing transit, and emphasizing a strategy that not only talks about rail, it talks about expanding bus transit, something that helps the most vulnerable members of our communities get to places that they need to get to, and it is a very cost-effective way, as well as something that can really rid us of our car culture. We have to also talk about a statewide infrastructure plan for the most disadvantaged communities that are the biggest heart of where the climate crisis hits first, in helping them transition, whether it's reinstating the PACE program for subsidies for low-income communities to install solar in their homes, or we have to talk about expanding the California FAIR program for wildfire-prone areas that are low income, and have them have some pathway towards getting insurance and towards getting some kind of a recovery strategy for their communities, because they're going to be the first hit. And so in talking about a statewide Green New Deal, something that our campaign really wants to emphasize is not just the metrics of setting emission standards and not just the projects, it's also the implementation of it.
Okay, and talk to me a little bit about your background. How did you get interested in running in this race?
I'm a technology worker. I'm not somebody who comes from politics, although I was an environmental policy major in college. But I think the pivotal point for me came when, as somebody who lives in really the heart of Silicon Valley, a heart of where we have seen sort of the excesses of the tech industry boom, it's forced a conversation in our communities about how much are our elected officials really connecting with people on the ground here, and how present are they in the sort of initiatives that are really helping people and not just putting plans on page. And I hear this from all across the community in the hundreds and thousands of doors that we've knocked, that people are concerned about the housing crisis and not seeing a real executive plan from our state government that puts the politicians in a position of really being accountable to those that it hits most. They are concerned about the cost of college. They're concerned that frankly, that they haven't, in some cases, ever heard from anyone who locally represents them, yet they're voting for them every year. I talked to one person in Alum Rock who said, you know, in 40 years that I've lived here, not once has anybody ever come to my door to ask me for my vote until today. And that just tells you how incredibly disengaged our political class is with those that live in the districts they're running to represent. And it's because the establishment has become so comfortable with being able to handily win re-election every year And now, for the first time in a while, since the incumbent stepped down, we actually have a competitive primary. We actually have a choice and a chance to put everyday people that live in our communities into a position of having a voice in our government and the decisions that it makes.
If people would like to find out more about your platform and your background, where can they do that?
Go to Gupta2020.com and you can find all of our platform positions and everything about how you can get involved with our campaign.
Okay, Natasha Gupta, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
For more political news breakdowns, interviews, stories of activism, and me trying my hardest to care about the occasional big celebrity news story, subscribe to our YouTube channel at youtube.com/The Damage Report. And you can ring the bell wherever it is so you don't miss anything.